Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers, trainers, professors, professionals, honorable advocates, advertisers, administrators and advisors, reverend fathers and mothers, adorable ministers and managers, respected ministers and doctors, I heartily, cordially welcome all of you. It is really nice time, nice place, nice action that we are praising our Indian holy culture in the form of unity and diversity. Where there is no discrimination on the basis of caste, color, creed and language, all are treated, accepted equally. In our holy culture and its our Indian cultural identity that we are known by multicultural, multilinguist, we can say multicolored. Actually, color doesn't matter, but externally it does matter. The greatest social reformist, Swami Vivekananda, addressed, appealed and advocated to the worldly people by his thoughts, ideas and words. He expressed in his words, my country is known by culture, not by color. Means that we are the people whose personalities are not determined by uniform or dresses, but it is determined by character. Our all starters, beginners, initiators, founders, generators, operators, developers, those who came time to time on this holy land, India, they were known by character, and character was their another name, nothing else. It is said in all our holy cultural, holy spiritual or religious scriptures, if our money is lost, nothing is lost. If your health is lost, something is lost. But if your character is lost, everything is lost. It is expressed, mentioned, defined, especially in our holy culture, because this natural country constitutionally has its distinct or unique feature in the world, and it is a torch bearer to other developing countries, whether they are developing or developed countries. In the history, literature, we read it that our India was the developing country economically, socially, politically, publicly, personally, professionally, intellectually, mentally, but not spiritually. India's spiritualism was at its top. That spiritualism attracted others, foreigners on this holy land, and today it happens the same. That's why India is the Guru Desh. India was Guru Desh, and India will become Guru Desh. It is rightly expressed by our present modern Swami Vivekananda, our present Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. Because of his thoughts, because of his dedication, because of his renunciation, because of his patience, these all are the identities of our holy culture. And he is the role model of our youngsters. These are the days before 2025. India's youth is ready to celebrate New Year in the form of new excitements, encouragement, confidence, soul power, spiritual power. By its regenerating power, recreating power, reoperating power, India's youngsters will become and bring unity, oneness, equality in the whole world. That is the right for our Indian scholars. On social media today, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, WhatsApp, Google websites, we are following imagination about the learning technology, teaching technology. It is said that imagination is the best educational technology. So, on the basis of imagination, our youngsters are becoming creative, directive, instructive, without any imitation, without copying any others, without downloading, without saving, and without storing, stocking, without history. If our youngsters have their present sense of mind, they keep themselves in present. On that basis, they can become the unique creators, and they are trying well for that. In the new year, India expects from them so, because the original starters, beginners, initiators, creators of all the social media, basically they are known by Indianness. And all of you, those who are listening, all of you are the observers, examiners, evaluators, judges of yourself. If speaker speaks something, then listen to something. So listener is known by his speaking, by his speakers. Listener is known by his speakers. I once again thank all speakers, listeners, readers, writers, and learners of this multicultural India, multi-linguist India. Supreme Court to courts. Let us go through what is happening around the world, in the world, on the world, at the world. Supreme Court to courts. Here rape survivor before bail plea. News from New Delhi. The Times of India says the Supreme Court has, in a short and crisp ruling, said no court can granting bail to person facing rape charges without hearing the survivor or her parents or guardian in addition to the public prosecutor. Cancelling the bail guaranteed by Allahabad High Court in August 2023 to the person caused by gang raping a 14-year-old in Ghaziabad in 2021, a bench of Justices Bela M. Trivedi and Satish Chandra Sharma expressed serious concern over the manner in which the High Court ignored provisions of law that mandated grant of hearing to complainant to complaint or her parents or guardian in cases relating to sexual offences under SC or ST Prevention of Atrocities Act. Appearing for the father of the minor rape survivor, Advocate Pranav Sachdeva said the High Court erred gravely on two counts. Next year listening, Haryana woman student killed in pre-dawn attack at rented house in Canada, one hurt. News from Kurukshetra, Jaskaran Singh says a 23-year-old woman from Thaska Mira Ji village in Kurukshetra district of Haryana was allegedly murdered by miscreants at her rented accommodation in Surrey's Guildford area in Canada in the wee hours of December 14, leaving her parents in her native village shattered. Simranjit Kaur had gone to Canada on a study visa and was enrolled in a business management course. It is learned that Simranjit and some other Indian students shared a rented space in Surrey. Some miscreants entered the accommodation occupied by Indian female students and attacked two of them with sharp-edged weapons. Simranjit succumbed to injuries while the condition of other Indian students whose identity is yet to be ascertained is stated to be serious. You are listening the news from the Times of India. Remaining news. TN police again. Tamil Nadu police again arrest YouTuber Savuku Shankar. Chennai, Tamil Nadu police have arrested YouTuber and whistleblower Sabuku Shankar in a case related to the possession of ganja. Shankar was arrested in Chennai on Tuesday after the Special Court of Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances cases in Madurai issued a non-bailable warrant earlier in the day for his failure to appear for proceedings in the case. Panchayat urges Haryana government for help. Thaska Miranji village Panchayat has urged the Haryana government to support the family. Dilbag Singh Goraya, ex-Sarpanch of Thaska Miranji village, said Simranjit was in the last semester of the course. The family is financially weak as they have invested everything in a better future for their children by sending them abroad. Simranjit's younger brother has recently gone to the US. We are in talks with some local social and religious bodies in Canada to bring her body to India so that the cremation can be done here. The government should support the family in bringing back her body to India. Meena Kumari, the current Sarpanch of Haska Miranji village, said Simranjit Kaur, daughter of Bagicha Singh of our village, went abroad on a study visa. Our entire village stands firmly with this family. We appeal to the Haryana government to extend all possible support to this family. Giving details of the crime, Surrey Police Service had said on December 14, 2024 at approximately 3 am RCMP Surrey Provincial Operations Support United Frontline officers were called to a residence in the 14,700 block 108 Avenue, Surrey for reports of a stabbing. Surrey Police Service and RCMP Surrey Provincial Operations Support Unit located to individuals suffering life-threatening injuries. Despite life-saving measures, one woman succumbed to her injuries at the scene. Explore possibility of compulsory universal crop insurance for small farmers. Panel says no proposal to prohibit rented in. Government says from New Delhi, the CDSCO had also instructed zonal offices for drawing of samples for testing the level of N nitrosodimethylamine impurity in rentidine. The Minister of State for Health, Anupriya Patel, said, at present there is no proposal to prohibit the manufacture, distribution and sale of rentidine, a medication used to reduce stomach acid in the country. Minister of State for Health, Anupriya Patel, told the Rajya Sabha on Tuesday. She was responding to a question on whether the government has reviewed the findings of international regulatory bodies, US FDA and EMA, on the presence of N nitrosodimethylamine in rentidine and its health implications, and if there are plans to issue an order under section 79A of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940 to prohibit the manufacture and sale of the drug in the country. The Central Drug Standard Control Organization CDSCO under the Union Health Ministry has taken various actions including testing of rentidine samples for the impurity and communication with the state drugs controller to instruct the manufacturer of rentidine API and formulations to verify or test their products and take appropriate measures to ensure patient safety, Patel said in a written reply. The CDS CEO had also instructed journal offices for drawing of samples for testing the level of N nitrosodimethylamine impurity in ranitidine, the minister said. At present, there is no proposal to prohibit the manufacture, distribution, and sale of ranitidine in the country, she said. The Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission has published a general chapter on nitrosamine impurities in the ninth edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia 2022. This chapter provides the methods of analysis of the nitrosamine impurities, including the NDMA, along with their acceptable intake limits. Government lacks two or third majority through round one's bills. Nadda slams Congress over preamble amendment. Bad lot interfered with Constitution, New Delhi. From New Delhi, even a good constitution can prove to be bad if those implementing it are not good. Leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha, JP Nadda, said on Tuesday, asserting the bad lot interfere with the Indian constitution many times. Participating in a discussion on the glorious journey of 75 years of the Constitution of India, Nadda attacked the Congress over the emergency amendment to the preamble of the Constitution and also raised the Article 370 issue. He said the nation is indebted to the members of the Constituent Assembly who shaped the Constitution. As the Prime Minister said, India is not just the largest democracy but the mother of democracy. The architects of our Constitution knew this is not a nation in the making. It was always a nation, said Nadha, who is also the BJP president. As per Indian ethos, democracy comprises freedom, acceptability, equality, inclusivity, and allowing citizens to lead a dignified life, he said. The BJP leader quoted B.R. Ambedkar to say, however, a good constitution may be if those who are implementing it are not good. It will prove to be bad. He also said the bad Lord had interfered with the constitution many times. Mentioning Article 370, which was abrogated in 2019, the BJP president blamed former Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru and the Congress for bringing it in the first place. Ambedkar had opposed the provision of Article 370 while Article 35A was brought in with the presidential assent without a debate in Parliament. Nadda said, I am proud to say Shyama Prasad Mukherjee raised the issue of Article 370 and sacrificed his life for it. His mother wrote to Nehruji and sought an investigation, but that request was ignored, and this is also registered in the pages of history. He claimed it is a question of the good Lord and bad Lord. Nada said, after the bad Lord, we got the good Lord on August 5, 2019. We abrogated Article 370. I once again congratulate the PM because of his wisdom. Jammu and Kashmir is an inseparable part of India now. He also said Congress leaders are saying they have apologized for the emergency. But how do we believe this? The 15th anniversary of the emergency is next year, he reminded the House and said, we will observe Anti Democracy Day. We invite the Indian National Congress to join us. There was an attempt to murder democracy. If there is any regret in their hearts, I invite you to join us on June 25, 2025, Nada said. The government declared June 25 as Samvidhan Hatya Divas, the day the emergency was imposed in 1975 by then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Nadda also claimed that Ambedkar during the debates of the Constituent Assembly had said there was no need to include the words secular and socialist in the preamble of the Constitution. Ambedkar said there was no need to include secular as the entire constitution embodied the concept of a secular state that meant no discrimination on grounds of religion and equal rights and states of all citizens, he said. On the inclusion of the term socialist, he had said it is against the very grain of democracy to decide what kind of society people of India should live in, Nadda added. Prime Minister favored referring 1E bill to JPC for discussions. New Delhi. News from New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi favored detailed discussion at every level on the One Nation, One Election bill and wanted it to be referred to a joint committee of Parliament, Home Minister Amit Shah said on Tuesday. Shah made the remarks in Lok Sabha when the House was hearing objections to the introduction of the Constitution 129th Amendment Bill that seeks to usher in simultaneous polls to the lower house and state assemblies. When One Nation, One Election bills came up in cabinet, Prime Minister Modi said these should be referred to the Joint Committee of Parliament. There should be detailed discussion over at every level, Shah said. The Home Minister pointed out that DMK member T.R. Bablu, who had favored referring the bill to a parliamentary committee, Shah said the bill can be discussed in greater detail in the Joint Committee of Parliament. The report of the JPC will be approved by the Union Cabinet and the bill can be discussed again in Parliament, he said. News from PTI. Supreme Court adjourns hearing on PIL against a rise in mob violence. News New Delhi. The Supreme Court on Tuesday adjourned hearing on a public interest litigation seeking directions to the Directors General of Police of the state to take immediate action in lynchings and mob violence cases in accordance with the directions laid down by the apex court. A bench of Justice B.R. Gavai and K.V. Vishwanathan could not take up the matter for hearing due to paucity of time. As per the computerized case status, the plea is tentatively listed for a hearing on January 21. As per the computerized case status, the plea is tentatively listed for a hearing on January 21. In the previous hearing, the top court had pulled up the state governments of Assam, Chhattisgarh, Telangana, Maharashtra, and Bihar for not filing their counter affidavit. We clarify that in the event the counter affidavits are not filed by the above mentioned states, the chief secretaries of the said states shall remain personally present in the court on the next date of hearing to showcase, to say, to cause to show cause as to why an action should not be taken against them for non-compliance of the order of the court, it had said in an order passed on November 5. Earlier in April, the Apex Court had granted 6 weeks to various state governments to file their reply detailing the action taken in cases of lynchings and mob violence. It was expected of the state governments to at least respond and give details as to what action has been taken in respect of the said instances of lynchings and mob violence. We therefore grant 6 weeks time to all the state governments who have not yet filed their affidavit to file their counter reply and give an explanation as to what action has been taken by the states in respect of incidents mentioned in the writ petition or interlocutor application, the Supreme Court had said. In July last year, the Supreme Court issued notice to the center and the Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, Odisha, and Maharashtra governments. Later, all state governments were added as parties in the PIL on an application moved by Islamic clerics organization Jamilat Ulada Jamilat Ulama e Hind. The plea prayed for a minimum uniform compensation to be determined by the court that should be granted to the victims of their families in addition to the amount determined by the authorities. News from agencies. Six held in Gujarat for fraudulently issuing Prime Minister J cards. News from Ahmedabad. Police in Gujarat's Ahmedabad city have busted a racket allegedly involved in fraudulently issues Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana cards to ineligible candidates and arrested 6 persons in this connection, officials said on Tuesday. The accused issued the PMJ cards to ineligible beneficiaries by altering the source code of the official portal using login credentials of an authorized outsourcing firm, they said. The scam was unheard by the city police crime branch during its investigation into the death of two PMJ beneficiaries at Ahmedabad based Kayati multi-specialty hospital on November 12. Following a botched angioplasty procedure, the police official said. So far, the police have arrested 8 persons in connection with the deaths at the hospital. He accused Karthik Patel, owner of the hospital, is still untraceable and is believed to be out of India. The PMJ is a flagship scheme of the central government that provides a cover of up to rupees 5 lakh per year to eligible families. Jharkhand High Court stage JSC recruitment exam result. The court also ordered the government to ensure that the police register on FIR on complaint of question paper leak made by candidates and conduct the investigation. News from Ranchi, Jharkhand High Court on Tuesday stated the final result of the recruitment examination conducted by the State Staff Selection Commission in September. The court also ordered the government to ensure that the police register on FIR on complaint of question paper leak made by candidates and conduct the investigation. A division bench of Chief Justice M.S. Ramchandra Rao and Justice Deepak Roshan were hearing a public interest litigation filed by the Prakash Kumar, the court also ordered the police to furnish a report in this matter. The case will again be heard on January 22 next year. The Jharkhand General Graduate Level Combined Competitive Examination was conducted on September 21 and September 22, in which 3.04 lakh candidates had appeared. A section of candidates has been protesting over the JGGLCC examination through the through which recruitment will be made in mostly junior level post in the government, alleging that widespread malpractices took place in the examination. An FIR was lodged online by one Rajesh Prasad in this matter, seeking investigation and action by the police. However, no action was taken by the police. Thereafter, petitioner Prakash Kumar moved the High Court and sought a CBI or a judicial probe into the matter through a public interest litigation. NTA to only conduct higher education entrance exam. Pradhan, Union Minister of Education Dharmendra Pradhan addresses a press conference at his residence in New Delhi on Tuesday. Agency to be restructured in 2025, new post being created. News from New Delhi, the NTA will not conduct any recruitment exams from 2025, instead focusing only on higher education entrance tests. Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan announced on Tuesday the agency will be restructured next year and new posts are being created, he added. The move is part of examination reforms based on the recommendations of a high level panel set up earlier this year following alleged leaks in the National Eligibility Entrance Test, medical entrance exam, and a series of cancellation of others due to suspected leaks and other glitches. The Education Ministry is also in conversation with the Health Ministry on conducting an EET in the traditional pen and paper mode or switch to a computer based test. The National Testing Agency will be limited to conducting only entrance exams for higher education and not conduct any recruitment exams from the next year, Pradhan told reporters. He clarified that the Common University Entrance Test undergraduate would continue to be held once a year. The high level panel headed by former Indian Space Research Organization Chief R. Radhakrishnan noted that the NTA outstretched itself to accommodate diverse requests from many test indenting agencies for handling end-to-end operations of tests. The NTA should primarily conduct entrance examinations, enhancing its scope for other examinations may be considered after the capacity of the NTA is augmented, the panel said in its report, suggesting restructuring of the NTA. The committee recommended 10 specific verticals headed at the director level. The verticals will be related to technology, products and operation, test, security and surveillance. The NTA needs to be manned with internal domain specific human resources and leadership team with domain expertise, proven experience and skill sets who should take charge of the testing process in the future, it said. The committee also noted that the NTA should have an empowered and accountable governing body with three designated subcommittees to oversee test audit, ethics and transparency, nomination and staff conditions, and stakeholders relationships. The panel recommended the introduction of a DZ exam system on the lines of DZ Yatra to ensure that only the candidate writing the exam joined the intended program. News from PTI. An EET in online or pen and paper mode decision expected soon. News from New Delhi. The Education and Health Ministry are deliberating on whether to conduct medical entrance exam and ET using in pen and paper mode or online mode, and A decision in this regard is expected soon. Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan said on Tuesday the Education Ministry has held two rounds of talks with the Health Ministry led by Union Minister J.P. Nadda. Currently, NET JUSI is conducted offline in pen and paper mode, wherein students have to solve multiple choice questions on an OMR sheet. The National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test is the largest entrance exam in the country in terms of number of candidates appearing for the test. In 2024, a record over 24 lakh candidates took the exam. The Administrative Ministry of NEET is Health Ministry, and hence we are in talks with them about whether NEET should be conducted in pen and paper mode or online mode. We have had two rounds of talks with Health Ministry led by JP Nadda. Whatever option will be considered best suited for conducting the exam, NTA is ready to undertake the exercise, Pradhan told reporters. The ministry said a decision in this regard is expected soon and the reforms will be implemented in the 2025 edition of the exam. What will be NET methodology? What will be? What will notify it soon, he added. The NTA conducts the NEET every year for admission into medical colleges. A total of 1,08,000 seats are available for the MBSS courses. Of the seats available for the MBBS course, approximately 56,000 seats are in government hospitals and about 52,000 are in private colleges. Admission to undergraduate courses in dentistry, Ayurveda, Unani and Siddha also utilize the results of NEET for admission. The idea of switching to computer-based test mode for NEET is not new and has been deliberated several times before. However, the push for the exam reforms came following the paper's leak controversy earlier this year. For students held for allowing gang involved in digital arrest to use bank account. Indore police in Madhya Pradesh is Indore on Tuesday arrested four college students for allegedly allowing a gang involved in duping people by intimidating them under the pretext of digital arrest to use the bank account of one of them for financial transactions, an official said. These students gave the details of the bank account to the gang of cyber fraudsters to earn commission, he said, talking to reporters. Crime Branch's Deputy Commissioner of Police (DCP) Rajesh Kumar Tripathi said the arrested accused have been identified as Rohan Shakya, Ayush Rathod, Nilesh Goreli, and Abhishek Tripathi. All the four accused are college students. One of them is a student of GTech Computer Science, and two others are students of Bachelor of Business Administration (BBA). He said Shakya and Rathod are residents of Sihor, while Gaur Gorele and Tripathi belong to Bhopal, DCP said. Tripathi said that rupees 15 lakh earned by cyber fraudsters by duping people was transferred to Shakya's bank account, out of which an amount of rupees 10 lakh was withdrawn. Shakya's interrogation led to the identification of three other accused who were allegedly involved in providing the bank account details to the cyber fraudster indicate on a commission basis, he said. As per the probe, Shagez opened the account in a bank and made it available to his companion Rathod to get commission from online fraudsters. Rathod gave the account details to the girl, who in turn provided it to the Tripathi. News from PTI. Six held in Gujarat for fraudulently issuing PMJ cards. Prime Minister Kong neither does anything for farmers nor let others do. Prime Minister Narendra Modi with Rajasthan Chief Minister Bhajan Lal Sharma and Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Mohan Yadav during the वर्ष पूर्णिमा एक वर्ष परिणाम एक वर्ष परिणाम उत्कर्ष event making the completion of 1 year of Rajasthan government in Jaipur. Jaipur news from Jaipur. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday hit out at the Congress, saying they talk big in the name of farmers, but they neither do anything for them nor let others do anything. He also alleged the party encourages water disputes among states rather than resolving them and said the delay in the implementation of the Eastern Rajasthan Canal project is a direct proof, proof of Congress intention. The ERCP envisages intra-basin transfer of water within the Chambal Basin to provide it to 13 deficient districts of eastern Rajasthan. The Eastern Rajasthan Canal project was delayed for so long by the Congress. This is also a direct proof of the Congress intentions. They talk big in the name of farmers, but they neither do anything themselves for the farmers nor let others do anything, Modi said. He was addressing the Ek Varsh Parinam Utkarsh event to mark the completion of the Rajasthan government's 1 year in office. He also inaugurated or laid the foundation stone for 24 projects related to energy, road, railways and water worth over rupees 46,300 crores. The Prime Minister said the Parvati Khalsind Chambal Link project integrated PKC ERCP will provide irrigation as well as drinking water facility to 21 districts of Rajasthan and accelerate the development of both Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. On various water disputes between states, he said while the BJP's policy is to promote dialogue, the Congress continues to fan water discords. The BJP's policy is of dialogue, not of conflict. We believe in cooperation, not opposition. We believe in solutions, not disruption. Therefore, our government has approved and also expanded the Eastern Rajasthan Canal project. As soon as the BJP government was formed in MP and Rajasthan, an agreement was reached on the Parvati Kali Sindh Chambal project, he said. The Prime Minister noted that he had launched a big campaign to bring Narmada water to different parts of Gujarat when he was the Chief Minister and charges the Congress and some NGOs adopted various tactics to stop it. The Congress never wants to reduce water problems. The water of our rivers based to flow to across the borders, but our farmers did not get its benefits. Instead of finding a solution, the Congress continued to promote water disputes between states, he said. Prime Minister Modi also said that the BJP is getting huge public support in different states. Where elections were held, the nation has given the BJP the opportunity to serve the country for the third consecutive time in Lok Sabha. This did not happen in India in the last 60 years, he said. Today the BJP's double engine government are becoming a symbol of good governance. Whatever resolution the BJP takes, it makes honest effort to fulfill. Today the people of the country are saying that BJP is a guarantee of good governance, he said, and lauded the work of Bhajan Lal Sharma led BJP government in the state. News from PTI. Man burns father alive with GF's help. Lucknow. News from Lucknow. A 26-year-old man burned his father alive with the help of his girlfriend over a property dispute in the Rampur village of the Nigohan area recently on Monday. The police arrested the man and his girlfriend who were identified as Dharmesh Rawat and Sangeeta 24. The victim, Ramu Rawat 44, a farmer, left home on Thursday last to guard his farmland after dinner. On Friday morning, his charred body was discovered inside a 30-foot deep borewell in the field. Ramu's daughter Julia filed a complaint against unidentified persons. The Mesh later confessed to the crime. Police investigation revealed that Dharmesh suspected that his father denied him a share in the family's 2.5 biga farmland. Atma has no gender. Very knowledgeable, informative, instructive, and directive spiritual teachings of our all holy religions you are listening today. Here you are praiseworthy, admirable, and appreciable your presence today as you are listening with your 100% present sense of mind. Atma has no gender. Let's dismantle patriarchy. Atma, soul, is it male, female, or other variations of male and or female? Is it he, she, or they? Atma is none of these. It is neutral. The higher self, universal consciousness is eternal, unchanging, infinite, and all inclusive. There is no question of assigning gender to these concepts. Yet in our daily lives, we nitpick our gender roles, gender rights, and gender expectations in a warped, patriarchal word of our own creation by distorting spiritual and scriptural concepts, misunderstanding gender role. We have made male domination the social norm in almost all cultures, whether located in the east, west, north, or south. I want a boy. This is the demand of most would be fathers and their parents, entangled as they are in a web of their own making. Obstetrician Aruna Karda, in her recent work titled I Want a Boy, narrated her many experiences with patients. When a baby girl is born, there is no celebration, only a pall of gloom that envelops the new mother's relatives. Sweets are not distributed, they are withheld as they were meant to welcome a little prince. The female infant is no princess, she is viewed as a burden. The new mother is criticized and abused for not bearing a son. With rising infertility rates compounded by pollution and stress, it is always the woman who is sent to be tested, and preparations are made for the man to get remarried in the hope that the new bride will beget a son. And here, progressive doctors insist that the couple needs to undergo tests, not just the woman. In many instances, the couple is unable to conceive because of the male's low sperm count. Infertility expert Kamla Saluraj informs infertile men who wish to remarry, he might marry many times, you will still not be able to have a baby, let alone a baby boy. Scriptures are often mosquitoed or misinterpreted, especially when it comes to gender, and this lopsided perspective is propagated as being an integral part of religion, while women are invoked as goddesses on the ground. They are treated as inferiors and are expected to play second fiddle, pointing out that women have an exalted status in core spiritual tradition. Skina Yusuf Khan says, we have grown up with the saying, माँ के पीर के नीचे जन्नत है. Paradise is at the mother's feet. Nobody ever says this about the father. According to a hadith, Prophet Muhammad once told one of his disciples, if you are performing the recommended prayer and your father calls for you, do not break your prayer. But if your mother calls you, please do break your prayer. Yin and Yang of Tosham are symbolic of male and female energies that make up the composite whole Earth Narishwar, depicting Shiv and Shakti in one Murti, half and half Purush and Prakriti, portraying both masculine and feminine energies, constitute the universe and everything in it. Over centuries, with biological vulnerability taking precedence over inner spiritual potential, it has come to pass that the female of the species is weaker than the male in every respect, and scriptural saying taken out of context to support this premise at their care at their core no faith promotes patriarchy. Yes. Next, you are listening Yankee Come Home. India should cash in on the boom in outward bound anti-Trump migration from US. As Donald Trump prepares to preside over the Oval Office, America is on the move literally. According to reports, many thousands of US citizens are preparing to flee the country temporarily or on a more permanent basis out of fear of what they believe will be an autocratic and intolerant regime marked with political and social polarization. Travel organizations and European countries are rolling out the red carpet for Americans seeking Trump-less sanctuary. A Florida-based cruise ship company is offering a 4-year skip forward voyage, 4 years being the term of the US presidency, to those wanting to escape Trump's America. The luxury ship, which can accommodate 600 passengers, will visit 425 ports in 140 countries, and all in package come with the price tag of 55,099 $999 per person for a double occupancy cabin and $255,999 for single occupancy. Those seeking a longer getaway from what they no longer see as the vaunted home of the brave and the land of the free are thinking of taking up residence in countries like Italy or Portugal. A property dealer in the southern Italian town of Latronico, population 4,000, has reportedly received dozens of queries from US regarding homes for rent or sale. It's been incredible, said the estate agent. The town of Sambuca in Sicily received hundreds of offers from prospective American buyers for derelict house, and the mayor of Ololai in Sardinia says that he got 35,000 applications for their scheme, of which offers abandoned properties for a single euro. New Delhi should add a novel and lucrative dimension to its supposed strategic partnership with US by welcoming its emigres. This would be in the tradition of Indian hospitality based on the credo of Atithi Devo Bhava. The guest is God, particularly so when the divinity of such a deity is backed by the universal worship dollars. On this, on his part, the incoming US praise would be only too glad to be short of those he is decried as winging wimps and string pinko commies. It would be a wing ping situation for all, running away from Uncle Sam. Swagatam, says Chacha Syam. Papa, don't preach. The state loves playing Big Daddy. It's beyond its constitutional remit. On the last leg of his 10 city India tour, Diljit Dosan continues to sweat off trolls and tribulations. The latest being the political reading into his spelling Punjab as Punjab. Trump's has in it shows the headline making singer, lyricist, actor has taken on TV anchors and authorities on government's blind moralistic dictas or dictates. It started with a complaint against Dosanjh's songs' impact on children that resulted in Telangana government issuing him directions ahead of his Hyderabad event to avoid numbers on alcohol, drugs and violence. Chandigarh's child rights body ahead of the Chandigarh concert played school teacher advising him against performing songs promoting alcohol. Dosanjh complied, tweaked bits but also made his point on stage comparing treatment he received to the diet of violence or alcohol depicted in movies. You trouble artists and singers because they are soft targets. He has a point. Stopping Doshan singing certain numbers on stage will not even be a blip on Punjab's triple trouble of alcohol, drugs, violence that flourished for decades to benefit the criminal nexus of peddler, police, politician. But authorities opt to view such issues through a lens of morality. The Indian state loves dispensing virtue lessons, governments, municipalities. Certainly, panchayats draw from every regressive norm of extrajudicial and extra constitutional outfits. Every state has its own version to impose a misplaced morality on the public. Action is simply beyond state's constitutional remit. Its Lu Lu list crackdowns on Valentine's Day, which didn't stop people falling in love outside social norms, dress codes in colleges, teenager sex lives, banning adult sites, banning Maharashtra's dance bars, banning women in pubs, restricting nightlife, mildness, censorship of films, books, art. What people want eat, no eggs in midday meals, surveillance of online behavior, prohibition yet no morality inspired policy has ever served its cause. Misguided as it is, point is the state doesn't let up, it believe it can issue such diktats or dictates. Of course, there are always exceptions. 300 passes for a judge's lounge in Doshan in Chandigarh. Concert was quite the VIP treatment worth nothing also in all. Directives or rules are imposed on the public nary a word on ethics and probity of public office. This is neither in defense of any song or singer nor endorsing children's unfettered access to adult material or content. The issue is that in 75 years governments are still my bap mode, basking as a bad parent, not listening but repeatedly barking down. Dosanjh dedicates his Chandigarh concert to Gukesh authorities go figure. Next is Doppelgang. Imitation is the best form of flattery. Nobody should have a quarrel with celebrity look-alike contest. A bakery in rapper Drake's hometown, Toronto, held a contest to pick his closest look-alike Saturday. A woman with a sprayed on beard van over at University of Toronto, Professor Emeritus Jordan Peterson probably winced snob's ground for opt saw a similar contest in NYC for Dune star Timothy Chalamet. November had more to Paul Mescal, Harry Styles, Dave Patel, to name a few, were coming to a silly end. Actually, Look-alikes aren't silly subject. Saddam Hussein had at least three, maybe 10 do does sessions and TV appearances. CIA had a psychological profile until looking at videos to tell the OZ Saddam from Xeroxes. Hitler was said to have four doubles. Putin is rumored to have several, but Stalin definitely had four, if not six. There is a play titled Six Men Dressed Like Joseph Stalin based on two of them. Felix David and Alexis Dickey lookalikes have their use in peacetime too. Ex-BBC staff Ella Slake stood in for Queen Elizabeth II at the rehearsals for over 30 years. Shakespeare loved to throw some into his plays. Hindi cinema said hum dono. And they were not stretching credulity. The inexact way our brains scan faces. There is a good chance you have one or more look-alike in the word. Facial recognition software is also notoriously error-prone, basically man or machine. We are good at imagining Drupal gangsters, but there can be too much of a good thing as when killer cyborgs assume any shape they want in Terminator flicks or when Agenda Smith clones an army of look alike in the Matrix Reloaded that does stretch credulity but not boggle as much as the face swapping in face or off that gives a whole different meaning to who is who, but who are we to complain if the audience loves it. Very praiseworthy, our listeners and learners. Our learners have a great patience for listening about our nation's praise. Today you are listening from Capitalism Makes Socialism Takes. Will the bell toll for Wall Street? America is starting to look like Japan that was bogged down under a pile of government debt. All signs suggest the party's end is near. It's time to bet against American exceptionalism. According to Ruchir Sharma, columnist based in New York, having tagged Americans in ordinately large share of global financial markets as the mother of all bubbles. In my last column, the main pushback I got, even from the few people who share my view, was that there is no sign this bubble will deflate anytime soon. Almost no one foresee an imminent pop. Virtually every Wall Street analyst predict US stocks will continue outperforming the rest of the world in 2025, but all this enthusiasm only tends to confirm that the bubble is at a very advanced stage. If the consensus on American exceptionalism is so overwhelming, who is left to hop on the bandwagon and inflate it further? The certainty of Wall Street had spilled over into the popular media, which often picks up on market trends only when they are well established and near an end. Hype for American spirituality is now the stuff of TV, radio, podcast, newspaper columns, and magazine cover stories which have a track record of pointing the wrong way on future trends. Thus, a recent cover that extolled America as the envy of the world and closed by offering to take the opposite side of any bet against it was in fact an ill omen for US. The bulls say America can remain dominant owing to the impressive earnings of its leading corporations, but US earnings growth would not look so exceptional if not for the supernormal profits of its big tech firms and massive government spending over time. Supernormal profits get completed away growth and profits are also getting an artificial lift from the heaviest US deficit spending ever recorded at this stage of an economic cycle by far. Most economists nonetheless argue that with the balance sheets of US households and companies in good shape, inflation plans trend to think they will hurt foreign economies more than US. But as in Greek tragedy, every hero has a fatal flaw. America is its sharply increasing addiction to government debt. My calculations suggest that it now takes nearly $2 of new government debts to generate an additional dollar of US GDP growth or to 50% increase on just 5 years ago. In this respect, US is starting to look just like Japan, the last economic superpower to bow down under a pile of government debt. If any other country were ramping up spending this way, investors would be fleeing. But for now, they think America can get away with anything as the world's leading economy and issuer of the reserve currency. More likely, by some point next year, investors will balk at financing runaways US spending. They will demand either higher interest rates or a demonstration of fiscal discipline triggered perhaps by an even larger deficit or ever bigger auctions of treasuries. Those demands will wean US off its dependence on government spending at least temporarily and in turn undermine economic growth and corporate profits. To be clear, this is a bubble in America's performance relative to rest of the world, not a 1990s style mania in the US market. So it can deflate in a benign way if the alternatives begin to look more attractive. Maybe Germany and France will get their economic act together as Greece and Spain did a decade ago when under duress. Maybe Beijing under pressure from Trump tariffs and weak domestic demand will finally boost consumption to stabilize the economy. Maybe US, but mesmerized by the American exceptionalism. Analysts can talk only of how US has been the world's premier financial market for a century. They forget that in 6 of the last 11 decades, the country's stock market lagged behind the rest of the world, delivered zero returns, and emerging markets tripled in value as that decade came to a close. The attitude I heard in emerging markets like India echoed the certainty I hear about US now. Where else will the money go? Incredible outperformance relative to other countries could end if growth slows in US or picks up in other major powers or for unforeseen reasons. That is often how bubbles end unexpectedly. The two most recent manias in global markets were the commodities boom, which started bursting in 2011 in a surge of new supply, and the China growth bubble, which collapsed in 2021 amid a concerted state crackdown on the property sector. The longer a trend lasts, the more confident investors get and the more indiscriminately they buy into the mania. In the late stage of the bubble, prices typically go parabolic, and over the past 6 months, US stock prices have outgained others by the widest margins for any comparable period in at least a quarter century. When flying in such thin air, it doesn't take much to stall the engines of the classic signs of a bubble. Extreme prices, valuation, and sentiment suggest that the end is near. It's time to bet against American exceptionalism. Pushpa 3. Even Alu Arjun needs a lot of help. After its sequel success. The future looks secure for the Pushpa franchisee, but even the hero's edgy masculinity can't guarantee the next one will be a hit. Renuka Beast. When a movie hits the theaters, interested audiences divide into three categories. The first spends money and time watching it on big screens. The second does this before or after they have read or seen, heard the reviews. The third makes it only to the reviews or songs or trailers, not the theaters. All these interested parties have a role in writing the fate of a movie. Sometimes extra filmical matters also play an oversized role in this destiny. As in the ongoing Pushpa, the rules stampede case, whether the buzz is that Alu Arjun's arrest has been orchestrated to help his movie or to scapegoat him, it's business positive. Such extra filmic buzz can also B. Business negative edge. Adi Purush experienced first hand last year. But as much as buzz, reviews, marketing influences matter in the short term, content overrides them all over time. Pushpa the Rise was a COVID baby when it became the highest grossing Indian film of 2021. That was explainable in pandemic terms. It was a great fit for our pent up aggregations, but the way in which its cultural footprint has expanded since is something else. There has been a lot of OTT wooing in the interim. Those who became super fans of Pushpa, Anti Flower, Ankunua, Fire You on small screens were primed to get to big screens for part 2, which has primed audiences for part 3 by way of septic openings and closing sequences. Theorizing about that Pushpa's up to in Japan or how much the bomb at his family gathering has hurt him is all around us now. It's a sequel word. Satyajit Ray, Francis Ford Coppola, and George Lucas were ahead of the times with their trilogies. I was a choice that shouted a grand self belief in their story universe. This century sequel, prequels, requels have been a grand Hollywood cash grab. Your correspondent has attended US Society for Cinema and Media Studies panels where Daisy Eckert self-flagellated over the Indian cinemascape being starved of sequels. Now that these are in abundance, the complaints are about artistic compromises and also about Indian franchisee doing a much poorer job of merchandising movie IPs than Hollywood. On its opening weekend, Pushpa the ruled as number 2 at the global box office. Let that sink in. Behind only Disney's Gargantum Muna too, it's now being discussed as much in dollar millions as in rupee crores. Only 2 weeks old, it's snuffing, its shuffling of the records books is far from done. Parasite won its Best Picture Oscar after more than 20% of South Korean population had seen at the theater. Words fans become likely to buy tickets after the nations too. India's domestic bump potential is mega. But what Shukumar and co have done to harness it is also mega. The director and writer has delivered a mesmerizing Odysseus. The hero has raw physicality, wounded childhood, all in enmities, all thrown into bald fox by polished cinematographers. Mirosho, Cuba, Brozek with its have nothing, pulping the low and netas to the sound of whooping from the assails. Comparisons with the war are understandable, but cultural consumption is infinitely more fragmented today than in 1975. deliver an angry young man who pumps up Patna, Hyderabad, and New Jersey, alike in an ADHD era, speaks to how effectively Sukumar has crafted the immersive Pushpa experience. Yes, its sickiness. Yes, it's sickening how killing pristine forest is subdued into heroism. The deeply wind red of their carcasses seems to be saying sorry, not sorry, but protesting. This or that part of Pushpa only pulls one deeper into it. It's not a feminino menon. This is a kind of the theme song of 2024. Kamla and her women's platform got crushed. Sidhu Paji made himself the star of his wife's cancer battle. Maharashtra has everyone pretending that women will have whole soul agency over over Labharthi flows into their accounts. Against all this, Alu Arjun and Fahad Fashil are doing the heavy riding in Pushpa with Rashmika Mandana as only a distant third is pretty painless. There is much excitement around the sequences in which a sari clad Pushpa tests the limits of our willing suspension of disbelief. Are these about being in touch with his feminine side, or is it alpha male to do this whom Dishum and dance in a sari? Not that the original angry young man didn't. Remember Mere Angna Me. The power of these sequences doesn't come from breaking some masculine taboo. It's about their throbbing energy, least intense choreography. The come on, you didn't go there. Novelty. And about Alu Arjun getting so deeply into character that it simply lifts off. Pushpa को national खिलाड़ी समझता क्या international है. The movie thumps chest. The more news of its box office success spreads, the more people walk from the couch to the theater. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy until sometimes it isn't. Series like Unbreakable and Wonder Woman have had unhappy landings. There is immense enthusiasm about Pushpa, the rampage. But first, this has to survive and thrive. So, a few waiting years, second, Sukumar and co have to once again match their vision towards entertainment on a mega scale. Let us take break. Thank you all of you.